Toxic, toxic. How you feel toxic? Why you so toxic? Why you so toxic? How you feel coming on me like toxic? How you feel coming on me like first thing first, toxic, toxic. Get me hurt you first. How you feel toxic? Just for make it work. Now me I go end it like the 31st. You toxic, toxic, toxic. Girl, why you toxic? How you feel toxic?
99.9. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
Love this beat. I love this instrumental. It make me feel like write a song to this. I love it. I love it.
You can write this. You sing any song if you write it.
Roleza, I would have. Let me. You know, this morning, actually yesterday, I said I'm going to prove to Roleza that I actually can write songs. I have written songs, nothing published, and I can write jingles. I was supposed to get the drift instrumental so I could sing to you a little jingle I wrote for school for Literacy Week, but I forget to look for the drift instrumental. So tomorrow.
Listen, I have no doubts about your writing abilities.
I'm bringing evidence to you.
What I am questioning is your singing ability. I have no doubts about your writing abilities, right?
Okay, now I know. Now I know.
And your freestyle, that's maybe what the real problem is. All right.
I've just been messing around with my freestyle.
Yeah,
I wasn't being serious.
We're all capable of doing so much once we put our minds to it. All right. I have that faith in you, Dianna.
Oh, thank you.
Prove the haters wrong.
Of course.
I take my bow.
Come on.
All right, so folks, we are back with another segment of our Activated Mornings program commentary segment. All right. Before we jump into it, there is something that happened yesterday, and it's one of those things that sort of ticks me off every time, right? So I just said, let me just raise it here. Just raise it again, right? For persons with ATM cards. If you go into the ATM machine and you're unsure of what to do, please ask for assistance, right? Now, yesterday I made it to the bank in good time, right? To be able to use the ATM because as persons should know, at least for Bank of SVJ, I can't say for the other banks, that they close off at 1 o'clock and they reopen at 1:30, right? For persons who don't know, that's when the ATM machine closes off at 1 o'clock, right? So if you see like after 12, there's a long line, the point is to try to speed up the process as quickly as possible.
Please.
Yesterday, I was in the line for a good amount of time. I was there for more than 40 minutes in the line. Reach up and, go inside because the guy who was in front of me actually went in and I realized that 2 persons were in there plus him. So I know somebody in there needed help, right? And the interesting thing is that as soon as he finished helping those persons, the machine shut off. I was already inside it. So all I seen is temporarily out of service. So, I vex, right? And the thing of it is that I actually showed my annoyance to the persons who were inside. And I mean, it's not something that I tend to do a lot because I understand persons not being able to understand things. I am a lot more patient with people who don't literally do not know, right? And the guy who actually went in, he also did not get through because he was helping the persons, Okay. And it's just one of those things where, and I really felt bad for showing my annoyance, right? Again, I felt bad about it, but I was hungry and I was tired. And as usual, I just want to go home, right? That's always the thing. I just want to go home, right? And I kind of felt bad. So if those persons happen to be listening, I apologize. But the thing, I shouldn't apologize and then say, but however, I need to continue, right? We know that ATM cards have been issued to many persons through the V program, and those persons, what was it? The income support program.
I don't know. I don't even know the name.
Yeah, so through that income support, thing that's happening, and I'm sorry for using the word thing, procedure process is happening. There are a lot more ATM cards that have been issued. So persons, I know that before that there used to be somebody in the bank who would assist persons with using the machine, especially when it comes to end of month, right? But it didn't happen yesterday. I don't know if it happened Friday, but it's just that when I went yesterday, there was still a lot of people in town and persons using the ATM lines. And the thing of it is that, okay, so even if the bank doesn't have personnel there, as you, the person using the ATM machine, if you are unsure of what to do, ask somebody for help, please. It really is that simple. Nobody going to thief your money, nobody going to thief your pin. Just ask for assistance because it holds up everybody else. Many of us are in the lines wondering, what is it that's taking somebody 5 minutes in the ATM to do? To do a transaction, just to take out your money, shouldn't even take about a minute. Once you know your pin, how much it is that you're going to take out. I know some people stand and count their money in front of the ATM machine. These persons have serious trust issues. Right? I'm messing around with that part, right? But I know some persons stand there, they count their money. You can stand aside and count your money, right? And then allow somebody else to come in. It really and truly should not take 2+ minutes for somebody to be inside the ATM machine. Please ask for assistance. That's all I'm asking, right? And that's just me. I'm for today.
I am laughing because this is a situation that actually bothers me. And it's just last week I was talking about this with somebody. People going into the ATM machine and spending forever before they could do what they're doing. It really is bothersome for those of us waiting outside, especially as you mentioned, when you know the ATM is going to shut off at a particular time and you're in the line and you're just hoping and praying that the people in front of you move fast enough so that everybody could get to do what they need to do before the machine shuts off. So I am agreeing with you, Roleza, please. What I normally do, I have my purse close by in the bag. If I need to unzip my bag as I wait, at least as I get closer, I do that. So by the time it's my time to go into the machine, I don't have my card ready. I know my pin soon as I go in. In fact, I know the procedure out my head. So I know the first thing I go in, push in the card, put in your pin, put in your amount. You want receipt, yes or no, and done, quick like that. So I make sure I have it all in my head. I'm not staying in there long.
And it's the same thing with me. I once I get to the top of the line, like the second or third person, my purse is already out, my card is already out as well. I have it there holding my hand. So when I go in, you don't have to listen to the prompts, right? Once you know what it is that you have to do, you don't have to listen to the prompts. You put in your pin. What's the next step? I can't remember what's the next step.
After pin, it I think it asks you for transaction. What you're going to do?
Type, I think it might ask for account type.
Yeah, account type. Right. How much? Then do you want a receipt? Yes or no? And then that's it.
That's it. It really should take less than about a minute at maximum. We could give you about a minute at maximum, right? So, again, if you're not sure of what to do, ask somebody for help, right? That's our PSA for today.
Please. All right. So good morning to Joshua there. Joshua say ATM lunch break. Yeah, Joshua, the ATM lunch break.
Yeah, I think it's for it to be replenished. I think it's for at least that's what I think it is, for it to be replenished, right? So yeah, it does take a break. It takes a half an hour break. Sometimes if we're lucky, it reopens before the half an hour is up, which is what happened yesterday as well. Before it was 1:30, it reopened. So of course I was second in line to go in. I spent the half an hour there waiting because I had to get a bill pick because I don't want to have to come into town make multiple trips, So yeah. All right. So that's it for us and that rant.
Yes. So hopefully we can take the advice and do better from here on out for those of us who want. Okay. So now we're going to go into our topic. And the first topic we're going to be discussing is, I'm going to read from a Searchlight article. And then we'll get into the discussion. The article is entitled Bishop's College Principal in Dilemma Over Space for Students. With the date for reopening of schools expected to be delayed, the principal of the Bishop's College expressed concern. I'm trying to paraphrase, right? So the biggest expressed concern in finding a space to relocate the students of the secondary school while the school is under repairs. The Dominica Construction Company, ADS Construction, is leading repairs at Bishop's College, while Braxa is undertaking repairs at St. Joseph's Convent. However, the renovations at that school are not expected to be completed by the 2nd of September, the deputy principal of the Bishop's College said. As of Wednesday, the construction crew was in the process of adding galvanize to the main building. The lab and a few other rooms that were wrecked during the passage of the storm are on track to be completed. Sutherland, who is the deputy principal of the school, said the contractor promised that the work would be finished between Thursday and Friday up to the time of the article, but challenged by rain and time, she is certain that we are not going to be ready for Monday. Well, Monday has already gone. So she also said that she's awaiting word from the ministry as it relates to the reopening of schools. That's not the piece that I need us to get here. Let me go down a little bit.
I think you might be in the wrong one.
Oh, for real?
All right, so let me get to let me go through it, right? All right. So reading another article was still in relation to bishops. So in speaking with a news reporter, Roy Stevens, what is Roy's position there? He's the project manager, right? He stated that it was probably less than a week now since we got about 20 guys, then hired a couple of new guys yesterday, which was on August 27th. So we are up to 26 guys on his site now, right? He is challenged, though, by the availability of workmen during the night shift, noting we only get like 5 guys here in the night, which he believes is because the majority of the crew hails from North Leeward. He's trying to cooperate with the boss to see if we can get at least a bus provided for them guys who are interested in working and coming from far distances so we can get some proper night shifts, he remarked. Now, when I read this, I thought it was interesting because oftentimes we make comments about government projects in particular that take forever to be completed, right? Mm-hmm. We see that project deadlines come, project deadlines go. And I think we had this conversation. This was before you came, Dianna. We had this conversation. I can't remember. I think it might have been in relation to the road that leading to Bookament for Sandals. And the one of the things that I spoke about is that, you know, in other countries, I shouldn't say in other countries, when it comes to some projects, you have to stick with the stipulated deadline. Now, it's only in cases of really, really unforeseen circumstances that some leeway might be given. And there are many times when I look at some projects here in SVG, and I'm saying that, why are we so lackadaisical in a sense when it comes to finishing certain things? And one of the things that I noted before was that we actually don't have many persons who work in the nights. Yeah. Right? I noted that in Minister King's presentation at the Eastern Hand program on Sunday, he made mention of being pleased with the work that is being done at Bishop's College. I couldn't remember if he was pleased with the quality of the work or the progress of the work, right? I really and truly couldn't remember, but he did make that comment. And one of the things too, if it's in relation to the pace at which the work is going, would be because they have persons working in the night, right? And we know that the challenge here is that many of the persons come from far leeward, or North Leeward. So the problem is that the lack of availability of transportation for the guys. And it just came to me like, maybe that this is something that we can actually try to do. Yeah. You know, when we have time-bounded projects, specific projects that should be completed by specific dates, then why don't we try to have both a day shift and a night shift? And one of the things with having a night shift as well is you have less distraction, right? I can speak from personal experience in terms of my own business that I really and truly would prefer to work in the night. You know why? Everybody else is asleep. So there are less distractions and less interruptions, and I could just progress the work as it is. Now, yes, I know that there might be an additional cost in terms of labor, etc., but it might be offset by the fact that the project is not going to be as prolonged. Right? Yeah. So this was just something that I noted coming out of it, and what was interesting, you know, maybe for a lot of these projects, I know for sure there's a private sector construction that's happening right now, and they're actually working in the nights as well. Okay. You know, so I just thought about it for more government related projects. You know, maybe. I'm
thinking along the same lines as you. You know, in terms of speeding up the process of construction for anything at all, it seems, you know, a great idea to have persons working on the night shift as well, bearing in mind that you're going to have to help to provide them with transportation and perhaps a little security. Right. But just like you, I think it's something we can explore. I'm not currently seeing, other than financial, I mean, a few financial challenges, what other things may prohibit this from taking place. But I think it is definitely something we can look into, because some things just get drawn out for too long, you know?
Yeah. All right. So I don't know how frequently it happens, but yeah, that was just something that came to me as I read the article that I thought that we could probably just talk about, right?
Yes.
All right. Anything more on that?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So in not so great news, let me see if I can pull this up. All right. So a Vincentian who lives in the States, an IMPD sergeant, out of jail while facing child porn and child exploitation charges, right? So Javid Richards must remain in Marion County while awaiting trial for child exploitation and child pornography charges. So a judge has issued an order on Monday the 26th, which would have been last week. Jail records show that he was released at about 5:50. Okay, so Javid Richards faces 14 felony charges, all with aggravating factors, right? I'm not going to read the full thing. You could just probably Google it and the information would come up. So Javid Richards is a 12-year veteran of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, and Javid was arrested after a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Richards paid the $4,000 bond on the 22nd of August, but the judge said he couldn't be released until police had confiscated his guns and passports. According to court documents, 5 guns were recovered from Javid Richards' home, along with 3 passports. As a condition of the release, prosecutors wanted Richards to wear a GPS monitor and stay in Marion County. The judge denied the GPS monitoring request, while granting the request that Richards must stay in the county. All right. Just to give you a bit more details with regards to the actual incident, on August 6th, a detective with the Internet Crimes Against Children received a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploitation of Children, which is a national clearinghouse for missing and exploited children, and alerts law enforcement to material uploaded or downloaded of sexually exploited children on the internet. A week later, detectives received evidence that an IP address came back to a personal home router with the same name as Richards, who has been with the department for 12 years and most recently assigned to internal affairs. All right, so there is more details in terms of how exactly it all happened, what was used, etc. Right? The department said that they're profoundly shocked and disturbed by the allegations involving an IMPD officer. His alleged actions constitute a betrayal of the sacred oath we take to protect and serve our community. These actions do not reflect the character of the brave men and women who serve Indianapolis with integrity and dedication every day. The article further says, just to come down, be vigilant. If you see something disturbing on a coworker's device or computers, or hear them talking about things that seem to be disturbing, speak up. The other thing is to educate our children. We find that this conduct starts earlier and earlier with kids. They now have access to pornography online, and that includes child pornography. All right, so the thing with this is that I actually know this individual, right? He may have been like a year or two above me in school. Okay. We didn't go to the same school, but I familiar with him because of the school that he went to, right? And it was more shocking to me to have to read this. Of course, it's all at the initial stages of the investigation, etc. And it was just a bit disturbing for me, right? Yeah, I can't really say too much because it's still early, but it's just shocking, right? Yeah. It's just shocking to hear the association with this type of incident and what's alleged to have happened, right? But one of the interesting things, or one of the things that I particularly welcomed in terms of reading, was that last part that I wrote in terms of it's kind of on all of us to be vigilant when it comes to child pornography. You know, there are times when I wonder how seriously we take this down here, because I think maybe sometimes, okay, so, you know, like a parent might put up a picture on their social media of maybe their child topless. Like when they're toddlers, a child topless, maybe just in their underwear, both boys and girls. And for us, we're relaxed and calm about it, because for many of us, our minds will not go towards that. But if you upload these type of things, then somebody, an adult, may have a fetish towards your child with regards to these things, So I think sometimes it's also for us as adults to be a little bit mindful.
Correct.
The internet isn't, or even our own, we might think that we're uploading things for only our friends and family to see. And
time has shown that the internet will take things far
and stay. Things,
and that's it.
Stay.
Yeah, it goes far and it stays.
Yeah, so
I can't share your sentiments because I don't know the individual, but the fact that it's disappointing for several reasons. As a Vincentian, we don't like to hear of Vince's in bad press in a bad way. So one is disappointing for that reason. It's disappointing that this man would, be involved in something like this, especially this type of criminal activity. It's really disappointing. It's sad. I was gonna say something else, but it totally slipped me. I just want to read something on child pornography for persons who may still be a little bit ignorant about it. Child pornography in criminal law. I'm reading from Britannica.com on Google. Child pornography in criminal law, any visual depiction of a minor is a person who has not reached the age of consent. Any visual depiction of a minor engaging in sexually explicit activity in the Federal Criminal Code of the United States, child pornography is partly defined as any photograph, film, video, picture, or computer-generated image that depicts actual or simulated sexually explicit activity by a minor, where in the latter case, the simulation is indistinguishable from actual sexually explicit activity. Child pornography also includes visual depictions that are created or modified so as to appear to depict actual sexually explicit activity by an identifiable minor, that is, by a recognizable individual who was a minor when the visual depiction was created or modified, or whose image as a minor was used in the creation or modification of the visual depiction. And the age of consent, it differs, I believe, for different places. So that would be different. But when it comes to cases like these, I just genuinely don't know what to say at times because I can't understand or come close to understanding or even imagine why or what you can possibly trying to choose my
get
words.
Out of it.
Basically, children.
I think for me, and of course, this is provided that it's all true. I think one of the things for me is what concerns me now. Yes, it says that I have not interacted with this person for years, right? And people can change over time, but the thing of it is that, there's a rainbow. Sorry. One of the things is that it's like you just never know who is who, I suppose. And that is one of the worrying things for me.
Yep.
And as we talk about many of these sexual cases, etc., again, this is an officer, right? One of those persons who you're going to have a lot of trust in, or you're not going to think.
You're depending on to protect you.
And another article said that it's most embarrassing for the units. That's the heading from an official from his department, and it's just like you just don't know who is who. And this is what worries me so much about society. Extremely. It's like you have to. It's almost like you can only leave your chair with people who you could put your head on a block for.
That's it.
You just, you
never know what's going through people's minds. You can't judge people. They say don't judge a book based on its cover. So it's not like you could walk around. You look like you go do this, and you ain't look like. You cannot say. You don't know who is who. That's the frightening part. But we just have to try to do our best, continue to educate, and also look out, do research, find out warning signs for certain things, what to look out for. Just to try and
talk
prevent.
to your children as well.
Exactly
you know, you have to talk to your children about these uncomfortable topics because you just never know. You have to put them on their guard. You have to put them on their alert. It's never too young for you to have the conversation as far as I'm concerned. It's just how you tailor the messaging. But you have to speak to your children, right? Because the world is a kind of funny place. We want to believe it's a good place and everybody is good and good-hearted and looking out for your child, but
it ain't.
There are persons among us. They walk among us. All right. So, yep. All right. So let's jump out at this time and then we'll be back a little bit, about 5-10 minutes with more commentary on today's Activated Mornings program.